Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Thursday. Sorry for the delay, but I had some stuff to do that kind of backed me up. But it's still Thursday. We got 8 minutes left. Welcome to Thursday Night Live. This is one of our signature 4 of our shows, 5 if you include the one I snuck in there the other night. But one of our 4 official shows of the week. Obviously, Tuesday, No Topic Tuesday, Thursday Night Live, Saturday Night Overnight Live, and then the weekend wrap-up show that happens on Sunday, unless it is precluded by a TV show or something we want to watch. Like, say, for instance, if Blade Runner 2099 comes out this year and it gets dropped on a Sunday, then that will replace any type of wrap-up show that we have. This Saturday, I will be covering Wonder Man. I have not watched Wonder Man yet. I haven't had the time. I will be watching enough episodes to give you my opinion on it. We're going to be reviewing Absolute Wonder Woman number 16, I believe. It is the first Absolute Zatanna. Going to update you on what's going to be going on with the Ultimate Universe, which kind of sucks that we're losing that. But they got a follow-up thing coming up. I don't know if it's going to be as good. Cover that. Royal Rumble is this Saturday at 2 p.m. It's one of the few WWE events I actually look forward to. So we're going to watch and see what kind of surprises that gives us. And then we have a couple of independent. I have 2. Finally got these guys lined up. 2 people that are going to. One of them is a local here in Las Vegas who dropped his comic book at my store. He has a campaign going on, and then another one. I gotta make sure I get this person locked in before I announce that person. But we got 2 people, 2 independent comic book writers that are promoting their projects. We're going to have them on there. We'll continue to cover 1986, 1996, and anything that basically falls along that 6, because you're either having a 40, 50, 60, whatever anniversary. There's actually some stuff that happened in 1966 that we're going to cover that has to do with comic books. So a lot of stuff going on this weekend. We are going to be doing a Patreon stream on Sunday. So if you're a member of the Patreon, if you want to join, it's down at the bottom of the in the description. Our link is there. Also, I'm going to be doing a YouTube membership stream on Sunday. So if you're members of either one of those, you guys that'll be exclusively for you guys. All right. I hope Brad's okay. I haven't seen that mofo in quite some time. So I have my headset on in anticipation that I might have a host tonight, but if I don't have one, we'll take these off. Okie dokie. Let's start with the comments, and we're going to jump right in. Today's show is pretty simple. I kept it simple because, there's really not much I want to talk about today that I really don't want to cover on. I want to save some for the Saturday show. Like I said before, I promised before, the great Sal Buscema has passed away. And you know who Sal Buscema is. Sal Buscema's career covered a lot. And then also we got some new images of Highlander. I think it looks great. And we're going to take a look at that and, talk a little bit about that. And then it's going to be a really short show. All right, starting with Cloned Avenger. Will, I just saw the Highlander 2 episode 1. I see why you say you will be upset if the new film doesn't include Queen. Question, how do you feel about Sarah Brightman's cover of Who Wants to Live Forever? One of... Shit, I'm going to say 2 people that can sing that song. Okay, so full disclaimer. I know it may not look like it for whatever reason. I look like a complete dork sometimes. I love listening to opera. One of my favorite presentations of anything, cartoon, claymation, sock puppet, theater, cinema in the world is Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera. I have no shit. And I said this before when we covered the 100th anniversary of Phantom of the Opera. I have memorized every word and every song of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera. Everything. And if I wanted to embarrass myself, well, I do it every day, but I don't sing. It would sound like me torturing an animal, but if I had a voice, I could sing those songs. I could literally, no shit. I did this for a buddy of mine when we were in drama in high school, just fucking around. And we were doing tech rehearsals. And we had an extra bunch of time. We were singing the song. I love it. So Sarah Brightman plays Christine Daae, who is the heroine or the damsel in distress in that. So her voice is her range. I'm not going to say she has Freddie Mercury range. Freddie Mercury has a unique 1 in a million range. She can hit it though, and I can't think of anyone besides Freddie Mercury that could sing that song. Maybe Andrea Bocelli, maybe him, but it has to be someone of that ilk, though. It can't be just another pop star. And Adam Lambert, I'm sorry, all due respect, it's not him. So I actually love that. But when it comes to Queen and Highlander, it's not just me being stuck to a certain era and nostalgia and all that. It's because the music is part of the movie. Highlander is Queen and Queen is Highlander. It's part of what you are portraying. In my opinion, there is no Highlander without Queen. There's Queen without Highlander, but you got to realize that Renaissance that they went through in the mid 80s, it is so connected in the fact that they wrote those songs alongside the production of that movie. So yeah, wow, it has to be Queen for me. It's gonna, if it's not Queen, I'm gonna be fighting. I'm gonna be struggling to hold on to that seat, not to get up and get out of there. But yeah, that's how I feel. All right. Yes, they do. We're gonna go over with only the 2 of them, but I'm gonna bring them up here in a minute. Here, how you doing, Duckman? Fourth. Please don't be that guy. I don't feel like highlighting tonight. How are you doing? My favorite koala bear. I heard Wonder Man. I've heard, like I said the other night, I've heard nothing but good things about Wonder Man. I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, like I had low expectations for Wonder Man because I just didn't have any expectations for Wonder Man, but I'm going to give it a shot. I love the star who plays in it. I love him. He played in everything he's been in superhero wise. I've loved him in. He does an excellent Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen, the HBO TV show. So I'm going to, I got some free time. I'm going to give that a shot, and then we're going to review it on Saturday. How you doing, Jose? What's going on? I'm so happy with the as far as nailing the look and the feel of it, man, it looks really good. And we're gonna pop those up after I say hi, baby. Got a 28 years later, Bone Temple, very good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying that movie. It may be a few years before I revisit the whole zombie and undead genre, but right now I've been out of that genre for so long. Tomorrow's fight day for UFC, and then Saturday is Royal Rumble. I hope Henry Cavill's Highlander is awesome. I know nothing about the IP. I love the John Wick movies, except maybe 2. I am going to guess that this movie can't be like Stahelski's other films. Highlander just isn't that type of IP unless he turns it into that IP. And he's got to walk a very thin line because that IP has a fandom. It actually has a fandom that has different age groups in it. It's not just us wackos from the 80s because Highlander, because of the TV show, had so many episodes and was so successful, and the show and the movie is a cult hit. Other generations have grabbed onto this. So I'm not saying Stahelski can't do this, but I don't think he can do it. I don't think he can John Wick Highlander. I think he has to evolve and do something sort of along the lines of the capability. But if you see it and it's, I don't want to feel John Wick in Highlander. And I think Stahelski can do this. I just want to, I just got a 10% of me that's like, ooh, I don't want to see, the gun. I don't want to see sword foo. I only like gun foo. I want to see what he can do with this IP. Sunday morning, Aaron. Let's see. I cast a missile of darkness. Okay, that's nice. That sounds like. I am right here, 4th. Let's see. You guys are talking about UFC. Yeah, I've heard. At this point, I can respect the people who don't watch it. I have tuned out. I have officially tuned out. There are people who don't like it, and then there's a whole level of people that just have gone crazy and every time I turn on my computer, I see a different different nickname for Star Trek or Starfleet Academy. I watched 90210 when I was in high school. Everything that has young people in. By the way, none of those people in that show are teenagers. Most of the people on those shows are in their mid to late 20s. So I don't know where 90210 comes from, but that's fine. At this point, I'm just going to enjoy the show. I'm just going to enjoy the show. And my advice has been in my groups that I've been talking to. And I'm not saying Clint's one of these people, but there are people out there that have literally made it their game to ruin your fun, and it's life's too short. If you don't like Star Trek, a Starfleet Academy, don't watch it. There's tons of Star Trek out there for you to watch, but if you love it, don't engage with these other people that just are there to ruin your good time. It's one thing to say, hey, I don't like it because of this and that, but it's gotten beyond that, and it's got kind of silly. But yeah. All the nicknames for Starfleet Academy. I haven't seen one that was valid yet, but and the show has issues. To be honest with you, it's not a perfect Star Trek show, but once again, I'm biased. It's not my generation of Star Trek. I want Star Trek Legacy or whatever you want to call it, with 7 of 9 being in the captain's chair. Let's see. Do it and send it to me. I'd love that. You're watching Terminator 2. Epic sequel. One Terminator 2, along with Spider-Man 2, Empire Strikes. It has to be in that category. It has to be in that category. As far as sequels goes. I still love T3. I think T3 does a lot of work towards explaining what they would do. William, what do I cook up? I don't cook. What do you cook up? What I order, and I'm gonna probably do a live stream. That was fun last year. We did a live stream of the Super Bowl. I'm probably gonna, or pizza and wings to me is traditional. That's probably what I'll do. All right. Yeah, I mean the Bashir, that name is royalty in comic books, and we're gonna go over him real quick. Let's see, William, what do you think? You think you would check out the new JCW Lunacy episode with Vince Rose? Okay, maybe. I got so much wrestling I'm watching right now, dude. I'm finding wrestling all over. New Japan is costing me years off my life because they air at 2:00 in the morning, and I'm looking at some MLW and Triple H, some of that stuff. So a lot of if I get some time, I'll take a look at it. I am going to AEW's Dynamite next Wednesday, though. I'll be there live covering it for the show. Let's see, movies from '96. Movies from '96 I want to watch, but never have. Fargo's actually pretty good. Sling Blade, nah. I like From Dusk Till Dawn. I still do. It's not my favorite Rodriguez or movie at all, but I'm kind of annoyed every time people get lazy and start comparing it to Sinners. And I'm like, I watched it again the other night with a buddy of mine, and I'm like, what the fuck are people talking about? But hey, it's subjective. Let's see. Go ahead, Big Vito, James Good, Clinton. All right. No, I did not. William, did you hear about what James Gunn said about people getting upset about Christina Hodson being a writer? No, I did not. I be honest with you, once again, and I'll say the same thing I said on Film Junkie last week. Why are you guys getting upset? Here's the thing. We didn't interview Christina Hodson. We didn't take a look at the script that she proposed. We didn't have the conversations between James Gunn and Christina. We didn't have any of that stuff. All right. And some of the stuff she's done I've liked, but even let's say you want to key on the Birds of Prey. I think Birds of Prey, to be honest with you, was a disappointment. I don't like that movie. But that doesn't mean her next project is going to be something that's going to disappoint me. I always go back to Jonathan Demme, Married to the Mob. I would rather eat that movie on physical media than ever watch it again. That same guy did one of the great serial killer movies, horror movies of all time, in Silence of the Lambs. And somebody sat down with Jonathan Demme, the producer, everybody sat down with Jonathan Demme and got a feel for what he could do. So we are not in that conversation. So you could be nervous about it, I guess. I don't know, but when in doubt, trust the person that's having the conversation with the people, I guess. All right. I have a special guest host. You might not even recognize him, but hey. Pupils dilated?
No, I just wanted to make an entrance. So literally, I just had my sunglasses sitting right here on the desk. I thought, what the hell?
Okay, so it's not like you did when you did Daredevil and you were like...
Nah, yeah, it's like... No, so okay. I was Tuesday night was just literally just Brad came home and just was tired and crashed.
Wow, you are a low energy millennial.
No, I'm a guy
you crash, boy, and you're not one of the people. I can't see you taking a cat nap. If you go down, your ass is staying down. Like,
dude, I it's like my day is like if I'm not writing something, I'm training or I'm coaching other people. So it's like there's me getting snapped out of me every day.
Okay. Rational Skeptic. James Gunn said Christina Hodson is a good writer and said anybody who's upset hasn't read any of her scripts.
In that review, she also was the writer on the Batgirl movie. Yeah,
but we haven't seen that though, so I can't even judge. I can't judge that against her.
Flash, which we like Flash.
Yeah, and she did Bumblebee.
I like Birds of Prey more than William does, definitely.
Yeah, I thought it was a mess, but I don't even blame her for that mess, though. I mean, two of the movies that I've seen of her, I can't even blame her for Birds of Prey because that was disorganized management. And the Flash was good; it should have been better than it was. I don't blame her for that. Bumblebee was good, so I mean, and hold on, fix your mic too. Sure. James Gunn is 100% right here. He's 100% right. You know, we are fans, and it's one thing for us to have an opinion, but you got to realize that he's in the catbird seat. He's seeing things we're not seeing and developing, and it's his job to qualify her for this. So I'm just going to wait and see. So we got time. So Tim Burton is not the first person you would think about to direct a Batman movie. Yeah. And at the time, be honest with you, before I got tired of Tim Burton and just got disenchanted with a lot of his stuff, you know, PB, all this stuff I was having fun with. His Batman movie. Now it hasn't aged well, but it didn't need to. It was good enough for the time it was released. It was iconic. He got together with, Anton Burton, all these guys. You know, he got together and created a universe. You know, now Batman Returns wasn't my. I didn't like that movie, and it kind of almost turned me off from the franchise. And then Batman Forever came along, but even Joel Schumacher. You look at the stuff Joel Schumacher does. He has an array of things that if I looked at one thing, I'm like, I don't know if I want to ever see that guy do this again. But then he broadens his horizons. So, but once again, it's like fan casting. When I hear somebody say, "Well, I can't believe he got that guy to do that," and I'm like, it's like fan casting. We are at a disadvantage because we only have what we've seen in our head and our perception of that. The writer, director, screenwriter, those people, like I said, we're outside of the box when it comes to that. All we can do is judge it when we see it. Really, if you're being objective, you know. Brad showed up like the T1000. Hey Brad, the missus let you join us. Missus, what? That does not mean you haven't, unless you got married over there. Maybe that's where you've been. All right. How you doing, Steven Ortega? What's going on?
I have to give him applying in the Matrix.
I really hope that movie.
I
hope that movie loses its funding or something. I don't want to see
what
that.
movie looks funny.
The Matrix 3, whatever, the one that they were talking about doing. I don't even know where it is, but right now. But I'm hoping. I'm hoping we don't see it. All right, so
they saw something in it in the pitch, and we're on the outside.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that. I know. That's fine, but we're also talking about something a little bit different than hiring somebody. There's a difference between hiring somebody and knowing what their qualifications are, and knowing when a franchise is lost its steam. Especially after the last one. And like I said, a hire is one thing. I know what capabilities are you going to show me in the Matrix franchise to say, hey, we got more life in this. It's not. It's kind of like James Cameron when he's talking about doing Terminator again. It sounds like he's waiting till it's relevant, and that's really what the Matrix needs to do, in my opinion. I'm not saying never. I'm saying let's not do it for the sake of it. Let's do it at some point when it's, because in 1999, dude, we were in a different world. Bullet Time was on a beer commercial and got a scary movie delayed because they wanted to add that. It was so new. That I'm serious. That's what it is. Cell phones, dude, the kind of cell phone technology we had in the late 90s versus what we had now.
I was talking to one of the kids in the school today about that, actually. She goes, like, I see all these 10-year-olds walk in. They got iPhones now. And I'm telling them, it's like, guys, when I was your age, like, I didn't have a cell phone. And if I did, it would have been.
It didn't exist when I was your age. And, dude, in the Matrix, they're legit using telephone booths and telephones. You show that to a kid today, they're going to look at you like you belong in the museum with it, even though some of them are still around. So I say when it comes to certain franchise just need to go away for a while. And I've said this about Jason. I've said this about Freddy. I said this about Michael Myers. At some point, it will be cool again. It's not right now. And you're just basically burning the gears. You're like when Alien, remember when Ripley was rescuing everybody and aliens, and she finally gets out and she's running and she keeps the vehicle running and what's the
grinding metal?
Yeah, you're just grinding metal now. That's all we're doing with these franchises. So yeah, no, I have not seen but let me bring this up because I was kind of buying time to wait for late ass to show up. But I figured because I know you wanted to talk about this. Thank you, Rational Skeptic, for sending this to me. You were the first one I saw because when I woke up, my messages were going off. So So
Yeah,
I'm going to use
because this was
pictures he
going
sent
to
me.
they were gonna start filming, I think, back in October, November, and then Henry during training he busted his ankle or something, so they had to postpone it. So they've officially the new Highlander is officially underway, and here we go. I mean, Henry Cavill himself shared this as his look as Conner MacCloud, and
well, Sid, now that tells you a lot. That tells you a lot. That now I know what this is, because remember I was like, is this a continuation? Is he another MacLeod? Because they don't give two shits about continuity. So, but now we know that. And okay, Highlander people, if you're watching my show, please like, subscribe, join all the shit, and everyone else. Let's stop using the word reboot, even if it is one. The word reboot is attached to shit. That is what the word reboot is. Make up something if you got to. Create a new word. We got to stop using that word, because reboot, most people who are fans of legacy stuff, and now you're making this, even though you're making this for a new generation, that generation that was handed it to it by like guys like me. And those people are, even if they weren't born when the original was made, they have become fans. That show is on the air right now. 6 seasons. You can find that show on one of these off channels, or you can find it online. That show has a cult following. When you say reboot, here's why we need to stop fucking using that word. When you're on your computer, right? You don't reboot most of the time for anything good that happened. Something got fucked up and you have to restart.
But let's also, like, a lot got ruined with Highlander too. So it's like, it's not like Highlander.
Well, here's the thing. Doesn't matter. You have to control the perception of it, because we're not talking about The Quickening. We're talking about the only movie that really people even recognize. Even with the other Highlanders, it did not touch the movie that they are reimagining. Now, when you have something that is a legacy anything, and that's why I said with Buffy, you have a multi-generational fan base. The word reboot is literally like smearing shit on the Mona Lisa. That's what that is. Because once again, your computer stalls. What do? You restart it. You reboot it. Something goes wrong with your hard drive. You reboot it. Something wrong led you to that word. So we want to throw that word away. Relaunch, reimagining, something better. Even if the word reboot fit, it is literally, the word is covered in shit, and that's all you're splattering on your brand new project. This looks amazing. Stop using the word reboot. No more. Come up with a new word. Literally. I don't care how cheesy it sounds. Trust me, it is going to have a better effect on your project than reboot. That Buffy thing, I was following that shit. You saw fans coming in. This ain't a reboot. If this is a reboot, I'm not watching. Why? Because the main people that are going to be your customers are people who referred this from a loyal fan base. And when you say reboot, I'm like, well, wait a minute. What the fuck was wrong with my old one? Nah. Come up with a different word. Don't want to see that word used no more. Gonna bring back the ban list, and the first 10 items on it is that word. Stop fucking using that word. Anyway, this looks amazing. This looks from top to bottom. That jacket, that jacket. That jacket is kick ass on that jacket. He looks great. The short hair. I mean, I know a lot of people are they when he first got cast, they were just doing the whole Richard thing. All they were doing is really jury rigging the Richard thing, and then but we got to remember that for the majority of the film, he only has that long hair in flashbacks.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do, the flashbacks to medieval Scotland, and show him with with a mullet and whatnot. But
it wasn't a mullet, man. Come on. Wow. No, okay, but this looks great. And then he's got another one here. Hold on.
That's showing him with the sword, I think.
Yeah, and it reminded me, this image here reminded me of the TV show. It reminded me of the opening when you watch the show. The opening of the TV show is Duncan MacLeod. You gonna wear those glasses the whole time?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, fine.
So that's distracting.
It's just weird. Anyway,
Okay.
when you watch the TV show, this looks like the opening of the TV show, and it's Duncan MacLeod saying, "From the ancient time of so and so, I'm Duncan MacLeod. I'm immortal. I've been around 435 years." And then you hear, "Here we are." Okay, I'm hearing Queen right now. I'm hearing Princes of the Universe right now. Looking at this, so far so good, guys. This looks great. I mean, once again, if you're watching the show, get rid of the word reboot. Don't use it ever again. It's got to be Queen, guys. The more I think about this, it's not just a soundtrack. It is Highlander.
It's the heart of Highlander, yeah.
It is a part of it. It is the Queen soundtrack is as much a part of Highlander as Swords. I'm going to say it. I mean, it's just part of it. Now, can you add other stuff to it? Yeah, I don't. Come on, we can't. Yeah, add other stuff to it. Give me I don't care. Taylor Swift, Highlander. I don't care. I don't care what you add. I don't care if it's Bad Bunny. I don't care what you add to that soundtrack. As long as you're adding it to Princes of the Universe, as long as you're adding it to Who Wants to Live Forever, as long as you're adding it to Don't Lose Your Head, we're all right. We're all right. But this looks good. They're off to a great start. And this is hard to do. What they're trying to do here is really hard. This movie has a massive following now. I mean, it has and like I said, they had some horrible movies. That's how strong the Highlander. Yeah, that's how strong the Highlander brand is. You can have the majority of your sequels suck. I'm sorry, all of your sequels suck.
And they have one that they tried to fix.
That was unfixable. That patient died on the operating table. But you have the movie. And you have a show, and you can the fact that allows you to kind of like forget about about this other stuff. But this looks great. I mean, like I said, I'm hearing Queen.
I'll pull up Mighty Raxus real quick. That is going to be Russell Crowe. Actually, he's Ramirez. So he's
which is a great. That by the way, the casting is
they got Russell Crowe, Dave Bautista's the Kurgan. Who else they got?
And I'm usually against that. I'm usually saying, okay, big 6'4" muscle guy.
When I heard about him, it's like, no, there's no way he's not the Kurgan.
Kurgan is not just a big muscle bound fuck up. Kurgan is pure evil. It's not his physical stature of Clancy Brown that drives that role. Clancy Brown just happened to be 6'6". Clancy Brown conveyed evil, heartlessness, and Dave Bautista's his physical makeup isn't going to be the fact that he looks like it doesn't matter. It's that dimension that he is going to have to ascend to become the Kurgan. I am looking forward to that because every role Dave Bautista has taken on, he's taken on the challenge. Even though fans try to pigeon-toe him, let's every muscle-bound dude, let's just Dave Bautista. No, this guy can act. And I think he can become the evil, even if he doesn't put on the weight. I think he can become the evil that the Kurgan is. I think he has that in him. That's excellent. And Russell Crowe,
for him, it's the opposite. He's going to take off the weight.
Yeah, when you talk about Russell Crowe,
I mean, Batista. He's like what? I mean, like 6'5" and like 2.
Yeah, but he fluctuates because he doesn't. It's harder to keep that kind of weight on, and he's pushing 60. Russell Crowe.
That's not a diss. I mean, the dude's in shape.
No. He's better shape than I ever would be. Russell Crowe's only disappointing time on screen was Thor: Love and Thunder. Everything else Russell Crowe did. Russell Crowe pretty much makes everything he's in either that level or better. So who else we got in there? We got him.
As everybody pointed out, I mean, this is like a little bit of as far as like Russell Crowe's, his and Henry's relationship. I mean, this is maybe like a little bit like a full circle for Man of Steel because going from like the Jor-El Superman relationship, and now Ramirez and Conner MacLeod. So that'll be fun to see. But yeah, also Dave Bautista's the Kurgan. Let me pull this up here. Jeremy Irons is also in it. Jamon Hansu. for Hong Kong action fans like myself and Aaron. Matt
Yeah, and
Zhang.
I think I know what character he plays. You remember that guy he met on the bridge? I think he's going to have him if they're going there 1-to-1. So, but could be somebody else. I'm all for it.
Drew McIntyre is listed as Angus MacLeod. They also got
okay, but Drew McIntyre. Now that's a guy who probably he's Scottish.
Karen Gillan is Heather MacLeod. Who else we got? Marissa Abella is listed as Brenda.
Karen Gillan, by the way, for those guys who don't know, think Amy Pond. That's her.
And we got who else is a part? Nassim Lies, that or Lees. I don't think I.
Oh, he is.
He's a French martial arts guy.
Your mic is doing this radio CB thing again. Is there something we got to redo? Because you've been gone for a little bit, and I think for a while we had it perfect, and then now you're muted. While Brad fixed that, William, Brad, have you seen Send Help yet? No, I have not. I've heard some mixed reviews of it. I probably won't see Send Help until it hits streaming. I'm just kind of busy this week, so.
And there's a couple other people listed here, maybe not as recognized, like Kevin McKidd and J.O. Jung Seo.
I don't know who
Dan
that is.
Lee, James McNaughton, Charlie McGeechan.
Okay, so we're getting the people I don't know. If the lower down you get, those are probably the least commonest people.
And then of course, directed by of course the famed auteur of John Wick, Chad Stahelski. So,
and I said before you even came backstage, I believe that this guy can do this. I have a small concern about this, but I don't want to be a hypocrite and say that this guy can't evolve, because I think he can. What made John Wick special may not apply here. So I'm interested in seeing if he can kick into a different gear. I don't want to see sword food. I want to see sword fighting. But John, there's a different kind of magic. Oh, by the way, that's a song. But there's a different element. There's a different vibe and atmosphere that makes the John Wick universe works. And there's an element that makes Highlander work. And I'm not saying he can't do this. I'm interested to see if he can, because it's different. And nothing he's done in the past, I don't think is preparation for what he's doing right now with this. I think this is where you go the Married to the Mob to Silence of the Lamb jump. And I'm saying I think he can do it. I mean, I think the guy has a good head on his shoulders. It sounds like he's a fan of the IP, so that's always good. You don't have to be a fan of the IP, but being a fan of the IP helps you understand what you're looking for. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see. I'm hoping that I don't want to see John Wick with a sword with Highlander.
With the with a lot of the players I listed off, because Henry, of course, as far as his prior work is, sword wise, he's well known for The Witcher, so that has a certain approach to sword action. And then Matt Zhang, it's coming from Hong Kong, so they have kind of more the wushu influence to it. And then Dave Bautista will probably bring a lot of the pro wrestling kind of elements to it. And then probably Russell Crowe, because we're going for his background in Gladiator.
I don't think he's going to bring. You know what? I don't think he's going to be any pro wrestling.
You don't think so?
He doesn't. We notice he doesn't bring those, because remember the Kurgan was not skill.
Yeah.
Remember, you go look at he's just
Kurgan is
Conner MacCloud is mine. Remember that opening scene?
He's opposing, but he is kind of a big brute too.
He just uses power. The funniest thing about that is when Conner MacCloud's out there trying to fight people and nobody wants to fight him because the Kurgan already said, "Don't touch him, he's mine." So Connor's looking for people to fight, and they're like, "No, not him. Remember what the Kurgan said."
Yeah.
And then
and that's the point in the movie where Connor he gets killed the first time, and then you realize
they think he's a demon, and that's where his Angus MacLeod. That's Jew.
And that's
what's the face's character.
That's something that since we've seen kind of that origin story in Highlander, that's where I suspect this may diverge a little bit from the original. Where I think what they might do is they is they might kind of compartmentalize the kind of like the backstory a little bit, where they're going to maybe like lean a little bit more towards the way it starts in the original, with like he's the fight in the parking garage at the pro wrestling event. They're going to just lean into he's already long since discovered his immortality, so it looks like give us some clip notes of that, and they're just like going to head straight into the story. That's what I think they're probably going to do.
That'd be that will be because like I said, we're talking about 40 years ago. The way the movies are just structured a little bit differently these days because of what they're up against. So I'm all for it. Okay, remake is another one. Remake is better than reboot, but a lot of people's attitudes when you say the word remake, because we mentally, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, I'm just saying this is this. Our minds automatically move to protect the original. So you're putting an incline on something that
especially
you want.
If the original is good, which
if the original is iconic.
And then in the case of Highlander, it's where it's like one of only two good things in the whole franchise.
Yeah, and that's like I said, it's a powerful franchise. When you look at that, it's a power. People tried to kill this franchise, and here we are.
The franchise, franchise of points.
And I think this is a great role for Cavill. I mean, this might be.
Yeah, I agree.
This might be something he, can carry with him, and it be that role. I mean, he'll always be Superman with me, but at the same time, I think he can get more tread out of this role. He can get another 2 movies out of this role, and maybe spinoffs and stuff. And I would have loved to see back when they tried a Highlander universe. We weren't ready for it because The Raven wasn't a bad show. It was just. It had reached to a point. By the time Highlander was off the air, it was time for Highlander to go away. Not because it was bad, because you were starting to reach that point in the story to where there's a point where you reach something that you like, and you know that it's okay. We've accomplished everything here. By the time that show was over and it turned it over to Amanda Grayson, we had accomplished everything. Some things I didn't like about the show. Richie, the whole Richie situation, that pissed me off. Rest in peace, Stan Hirsch, by the way. I did not like that. I don't want to spoil it for people who are going to, it's been 35. Richie is his Robin, basically, in this show. It's his Robin for the first couple of years. I think it was the first 2 or 3 years. Richie's just a normal guy. And then he gets killed, and it turns out he's an immortal. And then for a while it was very interesting, and then he turned evil, and it was like, oh man, then he had to kill him. And it's like that's when the show kind of that's when you knew the show it was time for it to wrap up, and not in a negative way. It's like 6 years. I still to this day, and I will say it over and over again, I can't believe that show got 6 years. I'm grateful that show. I'm grateful for every minute we got of that TV show. But I did not. It was like X-Files. It went through the same thing X-Files did, but not on the same level. Because X-Files, Fox, it was like almost like somebody was sneaking around Fox and was creating these shows that Fox didn't know about, and it was getting them on the air. And like Fox, like, what's this? What is this? We got to get rid of this. This isn't NASCAR. This isn't NFL. This isn't Simpsons. This isn't football. This isn't baseball. What are we doing here? Put it on Friday. X-Files became, it had a slow start, but it became a cult hit. Then news came out that, after season, I think 2 or 3, well, we want to put something else on Friday, even though they weren't doing shit on Friday. We don't want to spend the money on it. Let's cancel it. Holy shit. I remember the letter campaign, not email, not hashtag, letters. They actually showed Chris Carter, who was the executive producer at the time, showed something with all the letters that their people took time out of their day. Most people are too lazy these days to write an email or send a text. X-Files fans stopped their day, pulled out the paper, pulled out the pen or the typewriter, whatever it was that they had, and they wrote and they called their local affiliate. They kept X-Files on the air. And then after season 3 of X-Files, which is one of the great TV seasons of anywhere, it caught traction on a Friday night. X-Files became a hit on a Friday night, which in the 90s was not a thing unless you were Urkel or somebody else on and that was dying out. So on a Friday night, it became a hit. Then came season 4, which was the last really good season of X-Files, in my opinion. But it held its rating. Then they moved it. They're like, okay, we ain't getting rid of you. We're going to put you on the only night of the week we care about, Sunday. Because they had football, and then you had The Simpsons and Living Color. You had all that stuff. And then so they moved it to Sunday night and put it in a good slot. And because it had the ratings were phenomenal for that. The show wasn't. But from season 5 to season 10, they kept that show on life support because the ratings were good. But that's what they didn't care about that. Firefly, all that. They didn't care about that stuff. So when you have a show like Highlander that aired on a syndication affiliate that they put on like the Graveyard, and then it lasts, and now it's out there. You can find Highlander the TV, the series. You can find that anywhere. There are still people watching it. I go in on YouTube to see some of the episodes. There are new comments. And they'll tell you how I'm 23, 24 years old. I'm loving the show. I'm like, dude, you weren't even a thought. I don't even think your parents were looking at each other in the wrong ways at that time. And now here you are, part of our brotherhood. And you're why we got a new movie being made. So let's not remake, reimagine something. We got to come up with a new word. But hey, it's coming, and I hope people support it because it looks good. It looks great.
And actually,
we got 2 pictures, and that's it.
And it's it does look like a katana. Well, Connor uses a katana in the he eventually gets to a katana.
He gets to a katana, but he's got several. Remember, he's got several swords.
Sword, back in it.
He had the katana when he opened up. I don't know.
Yeah,
no, we don't need to answer that. We don't need to answer that. Don't need.
Well, I already looked anyway, so it's not listing that yet under the stunt department on IMDb. So I couldn't tell you that offhand, Aaron, but it's probably one of the 8711 guys. So
okay.
Immortal. I remember. Yeah, I love Immortal. That was actually the first movie I saw Henry in. And by the way, but this is a true story, guys. True story. Immortals when that came out, 2011. I go see that. I really enjoyed it. And I go out and get my car after the movie, and I twist the key, and the car turns on, the radio turns on, and I swear to you, the first thing I hear on the radio was, "If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman?" I swear.
2 doors down, by the way.
Yeah.
Pink. If Pink's on the soundtrack, don't care. By the way, she's an excellent singer. I'm not into her music, but she's got range. I don't care who's on there. I don't care who's on there. I don't care as long as they are on there in addition to Queen.
And to that point, this is also from the trivia section. Director Chad Stahelski confirmed the movie would be using Queen's original soundtrack from Highlander, but in a different way. So different way.
Be careful, Chad. I
don't know what that means, but he's using it somehow.
Be careful. I'm going to leave this up to you.
Yeah.
Be careful, because I would hate to see this come out, and then if you don't stick the soundtrack with this, it's not going to matter, because this is, like I said, unlike any other soundtrack. There's two movies that the soundtrack is as much part of the movie as anybody else in it. And Flash Gordon is the best part of the movie, and they're both by Queen. Now, you have other songs that have hit songs on them, like Top Gun has Danger Zone, Take My Breath Away. Nothing like Highlander and Queen. It is interwoven into the music. They are singing. When you listen to A Kind of Magic, which is the de facto soundtrack to Highlander, every song is being written for that movie. Who Wants to Live Forever? We're talking about Immortal. They literally have a song that says "Don't lose your head" when the whole movie is about losing your head. Princess of the Universe, I am immortal inside my veins with the blood of kings. That they're literally, so you have to have that. And hey, Chad, you can go ahead and mix around and play with the other stuff. That's fine. Wherever you put it, you want to use it a different way. Tell you what, Chad. The opening needs to be Princess of the Universe. Whatever you want to put anywhere else, whatever you want to do with you know, as long as it's Queen, wherever you timing and when mixing, whatever it is, when those lights go down and that movie starts, if I don't hear Princess of the Universe, I'm gonna have a problem.
The first thing we're gonna be talking about in DMs after the movie comes out.
It's gonna be a problem, and I know that we're going to if that song's not opening that movie, you're gonna hear people in the crowd that you know how you can feel the energy leave a room. Don't do it, Chad. Don't do that. Don't go out and make an excellent movie, and then have fucking whoever Charlie XCX opening the movie. No matter who you have as the lead song opening that movie, they could be the greatest. It could be Adele. It could be Elton John. It could be the greatest singer of all time. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Put them somewhere else in the movie. It's got to be Princess of the Universe, man. It's got to be Princess of the Universe. And I think he knows that. And like I said, in a different way, I got it. It's your movie. We're 40 years later. Everything that is Highlander, I don't care if it's Highlander pancakes. I don't care if it's Highlander hot toys. I don't care if Highlander cologne, Highlander hamburgers. Doesn't matter what you're selling if it's Highlander. I know what I need to hear, or I ain't buying it. All right. The show, and that was the show, it was like automatic with that TV show. They could have came up with some cheesy, you know, Highlander jingle and, you know, something crazy for that, you know, that would have fit the 90s or something. They could have done that. They didn't, because they knew the people who wrote and did that show, other than it being bullshit that couldn't exist, did a great job. They understood Highlander through and through and through. And if you understand it, you know it's got to open up in that song, dude. I don't want people throwing shit at the screen. So, Chad, I know you're watching because you know you got your disciple is here with us. So, but yeah, I'm sorry, man. It's got to be that way. But like I said, I would be stunned if it wasn't. I would be stunned if it wasn't.
We got somebody giving their 2 cents in the chat that is.
I'll take care of them. Don't refer. I haven't gotten to that far down. Highlander and then Warhammer 40K Henry. Yeah, Henry's gonna be just fine, and he's not aging, so we're good there.
Yeah.
Most movies are.
A few years, you give him a few years, like he'll have the perfect like Kingdom Come Superman temples.
Yeah, most movies are requels rather than sequels or reboots these days. Yeah, but a lot of those are a lot of the reboots, the ones that either they suck or they're something that nobody even regards anymore. There are some reboots out there that the people, the generation going to see them, didn't even know that there was an original movie. It's like those songs that you hear, like, you know, that are remakes of songs from like years and years ago, and people they don't even know the original song because they've never heard it before. When you're talking about Highlander, though, that's different. If you know Queen, you know Highlander. If you know Highlander, you know Queen, and you're talking about a franchise that has become cult. So yeah,
and that's one of the things I really wish they could have gotten to in Bohemian Rhapsody was because it ends at Live Aid, so that's right before you get the Highlander. So I would have loved it in there.
Yeah,
again, it's hard because like Live Aid was, you could tell they really felt like that was kind of a good endpoint for the story.
That's considered the last great hurrah for him because he started to get, you know, the last 4 years of his life.
Yeah, but it just would have. I would have, if they could have found some way to like, maybe
it would have been too much though. I think I understand what you're saying, but I would have been. I don't know how you fit it to make that movie flow. That movie had a lot of chopped up shit in it to begin with, so. Revival's different, Jose, because Revival would be if Christopher Lambert or Adrian Paul were coming back to play their respective characters. This is a reimagining of the 19. I like the word reimagining.
I wouldn't be surprised if Christopher Lambert has at least.
I like it was saying. Was it you who I was talking to the other night about? It would not shock me at all if both Adrian Paul, even though that makes no sense, I would have no problem with Adrian Paul and Christopher Lambert just sitting next to him at a bar and putting their swords on there and just not even recognizing, not even saying who they are, but you
bumping
know.
into him on the street or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that both of them will be in the movie though. I don't know how, but that would be
some
kind of cool.
like cameo. And if Sean Connery were still around, they probably would have him in there somehow too.
Revival, but yeah, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a revival, and that's what I'm saying. If you want to kill your thing while it's still in the cradle, then add the word reboot to it. But revival, especially if it's something that's not a reboot, people just use and they throw that word around. I hate that word. And like I said, I'm going to get a T-shirt, and my quote. I've already I trademarked it somewhere. So when lazy and stupid fuck, reboot is the love child that nobody wants. So yeah, let's come up with a different word.
Yeah.
Legacy remake. Legacy is complicated. William, will this film have the cheesy 80s dialogue?
I could see relaunch being pretty applicable for because again, it's not strictly about just the 86 movie. It's also like this is like the reintroduction of Highlander into like the modern lexicon. So I could see relaunch being pretty applicable.
Relaunch, you can relaunch or reimagining, because they don't even have to tell. We know the story that happens in 1986 story, but they could give you the skeleton of the story and still keep it consistent, but in their own way, which makes it a different movie. I hope so, but I don't think so.
I mean, I think
this film have cheesy 80s dialogue.
I think what they're
kind of has to really.
It's
not 80s dialogue; it's historical dialogue.
Yeah, I think probably it's what they're going to carry over is definitely the immortals, and can only die by decapitation, and the whole thing about like the gathering. It's like those are the elements I would say they're probably going to keep consistent, but then they're probably going to add a lot of new stuff into it too.
Yeah, and the quickening. We got modern. I want to see a 2026 quickening. When does this movie come out?
They don't have a date for it yet, but I mean they're filming it now, so I would guess probably summer 27, fall 27, something like that.
You look at the quickening that's in the first Highlander movie, and then all the other ones, and then you look at the Highlander TV show, which was like no budget. He cuts his head, and it's the same damn lightning as in all the people he killed. And you know what? I'm good with it. But his first kill in Highlander, dude's head goes out, body starts to float. The entire parking lot gets wasted. Cars, all these cars get blown up and everything else, and that's just one.
Yep.
Connor killed a grip of people. And
then he has the big one when he takes out the Kurgan at the end.
Yeah. And that one's like the light and
that's the quickening on
billboard. That was great. And then it's like all these things because he's absorbing all the Kurgan. You got to realize how many people Duncan killed. Duncan literally killed a person every other episode. That had 125 episodes. No shit. Duncan killed every other episode, sometimes several episodes. So yeah, that budget was like, okay, you're getting the same lightning. And we never showed the head leaving the body. If you notice that on the TV show, they never show the head leaving the body.
Oh, and listen, if there's one thing that Stahelski is Williams, go on, you can't possibly doubt him on this. He's going to show some awesome decapitation.
Oh, he's going to show the blood spurt. Yeah, he's going to show the violence on that one. This is fine. I mean, like I said, I hope he evolves away from John Wick because this isn't John Wick, but he uses his imagination that got him to John Wick for this in a different way. But they would on the show when they never showed it. He just raised a sword and it would come down and you knew that he got the person, or he would swing it and it would only show this half of his body. So you never saw the head leave. And when they would show the body before the quickening, you would just see the body, but not the headless body. So.
What do you think this is? I would think this is because John Wick is rated R throughout. This is probably going to be PG-13, isn't it?
Ooh.
I'd imagine it's probably going to be PG-13, and the originals.
What was the original?
The
original was PG.
Yeah, and they got away with a lot of decapitations, obviously.
You could do it. Yeah, you could do it as long as you
Well, I mean, it's like Predator Badlands, where it's as long as you don't show red blood, it's like you can.
Well, no, but these are humans, though. You're gonna have to.
They'll
have to do. They'll have to do like they did with the series.
Well, they're probably.
But even in Highlander, the original Highlander wasn't that gory.
Yeah, well, that's what they're gonna say.
It wasn't like the blood was spurting out of the
there's
arterial.
no,
or
they're
anything.
gonna tell them there's no blood and they're immortals, so it's like
I
it's
think
okay.
I would say PG-13. Well,
Yeah.
they're immortals, but with a weakness, they can have their head taken off. Reboot. It was the first full CGI movie. Oh, I remember that. Can you find a new band? Most younger generation haven't seen Highlander, maybe Arctic Monkeys. A lot more people are aware of Highlander and have seen Highlander than you might think, Hosea. It is something that literally gets shown. Like there's a handful of movies that parents hand down to their kids. there's movies that are just around.
That was a hand me down from my dad to me.
It's like Star Trek. I wasn't around when Star Trek was around, but the old man handed it down to me. And if I have a kid, he's getting it. So I think there's a lot more people that are aware of this. And I think that the numbers of it, you've had 40 years of numbers.
And in the marketing, they are going to absolutely emphasize, like, from the director of John Wick. They're absolutely going to push that.
I don't know if that'll help them, though.
No, but they're going to push that. It's like there's no
they
way.
They can, but I don't know if it's going to mean as much to the because remember, John Wick has a solid audience, but it's not like it doesn't have a blockbuster audience like that. I don't know what the expectations for this movie either, by the way. But you'll get the John Wick people over. I just hope that you don't come over here expecting John Wick because this is not John Wick. This is Highlander. But it'll still have his signature on it. But I think, Hosea, I think there's I think enough people have seen this to make it to where if you have seen Highlander at all, then you know. I
mean, like the whole catchphrase, there can be only one, and
that's literally in the soundtrack. It's the kind of magic.
It's seared into the consciousness that comes from Highlander.
Yeah, when you hear the word, when you hear the song, it's a kind of magic. This is a kind of magic. Very next word, there can be only one. So, I think it's like The Godfather. It's like Top Gun. Even though we have younger generations, a lot of younger generations saw Top Gun. They weren't even born then. They weren't even close to being born then, but they know Top Gun. There are certain movies that have become that I think that they're transcendent. So, but yeah, by all means, add other bands to that. I'm not saying it has to be exactly like it was in 1986, but that opening. As a matter of fact, Chad, listen, dude, I will be sort of pissed off if you don't really feature Queen in the rest of the movie. I could sort of understand. I'm not budging on the opening. Don't make me leave that theater. Don't make me get up. Wow. Did you see that?
No, I've not.
Yeah, and I have there's no chance in hell I'm going to ever see that. Let's see. William, with Zeus being canon to being alive during Infinity War, do you think Odin would have let the events of Infinity War happen? Like neither one of them would have had any. There wouldn't have been nothing they could do. Those gods have power, but they don't have the kind of power that the combination of most of those stones have. They've established that in the comics. So no, there wouldn't have been anything. It's not a matter of them letting anything. It would have been there wouldn't have been much that they could have done up against that. Highlander has a man from Jersey and a man from New Zealand in the movie.
Yeah. Man from England, man from China, man from they got people from all over the place. Like where's Jiman Hansu from again? From Benin. Yeah, he's from
Benin. He's from somewhere.
So they got people from all over the place. I just realized Karen Gillan, she's gonna actually be able to speak with her own accent finally.
Yeah.
Scotland. Wonder what Henry's going to sound like with a Scottish accent.
I think he'll be fine. Let's see. I'm just going through here, and then we're going to get. Is he that old?
I can tell you offhand.
I didn't know that. Let's see. No football this weekend. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people whose hands are shaking because there's no football. We only got one more game left.
Well, we got like a nationwide blizzard going on. I'm supposed to get a little bit of snow here this weekend.
They were playing in that blizzard. William Brad, it sucks. Highlander won't get a wide
We know that yet.
I wouldn't right now. I wouldn't bet one way or another on that. Because the MGM's a distributor.
Yeah,
it's an MGM movie.
Yeah, this isn't. I think I don't think this is gonna like. I don't know. I mean, knock on wood. I don't think this is gonna like probably go like the same way as like Roadhouse did, where like the director like boycotting his own movie and all that. So
yeah, because he knows that he either worked out his contract so that it gets a release, or he's being paid the kind of money. But I think it may get a release just for the hell of it. But who knows? Doesn't matter where it is. I got a 40-foot screen. We'll watch it there.
Yeah.
God damn it. Let's see. I will say this without jumping into the topic that I've already passionately expressed myself on. I think Del Horta's and I think Horta is his name. I think his performance is hurt by Black Panther not being there, because he elevated his character and his performance, and there was no one to meet him where it needed to be, and I think that showed in that film. I'll leave that. Let's see, Adam Lambert and Queen. Now, I'm sorry. All due respect to Adam Lambert, he's put in a horrible position, in my opinion, and performing Queen music. Yeah, it's not his fault. They wanted to continue to tour and play, and that's I can understand that, but that's a tough spot.
And I think I think I'm with William, and he talks about like Freddie Mercury being the greatest vocalist of all time. The only rival I can think of offhand for that title, greatest vocalist or like greatest vocal range, I think the only singer I can name who I think might give like him a run for money is probably Steven Tyler. I think he's the only one I could see is like having like a legitimate like similar claim to that title of like greatest vocalist.
Yeah, it all depends on where angle you're coming at it from. But for me, Queen. It's been Queen. It's been Freddie from a certain age on. Modern movies don't use original songs except for the end credits. But here's the thing: this isn't just a modern movie. This is something. This IP, Queen is part of this IP. In my opinion, it's like doing Top Gun without the jet. And, let's see. I want pancakes. Flop blender. Very funny. Oh, this is Aaron put it in the chat there. Let's see. I'm just going to answer some more. All right. Melanie will make her more money than Dune 3. Don't care. All right, so Sal Buscema. I can't. I don't know if I can do his career justice on this show. Be honest with you. I mean that is where I am at when I heard this. He's been by his way. It's not a shocking passing, by the way. He was older. And he had a career that spanned most people's lives, and I am not kidding. I mean, he lived a career that was damn near 50 years and decades. So this section is going to be for my comic book geeks. Everybody else, sorry, but when I heard this one, I mean, it was you saw. There was tweets from everybody in the industry. 1936 2026, that cat had a life. 89 years old. He passed 2 days before his 90th birthday, and he was active. Let me see, 1971. I mean, everybody in their collection has adds up. If you picked up, I mean, see, I had the list pulled up from some of the stuff that he did. Let's see. All right, so he did work for both companies, but primarily Marvel, Action Comics, Adventures of Superman, Batman, Batman Chronicles, Batman Day of Justice. He was both an artist and an inker. He worked on Alpha Flight, Amazing Adventures, Amazing Fantasy 15, the reprint, Amazing Spider-Man. He was an inker and a penciler, all the way through to the modern era. He worked on the Avengers, Battlestar Galactica, Black Knight, Captain America. He had a good run on several good runs on Captain America, Conan the Barbarian. Now that's where I first saw his work, because he would do Conan the Barbarian, and he would also do covers for Conan. He was the inker for Daredevil. I mean, his work on the Hulk was as one of the legendary runs. Marvel Team Up, Power Man and Iron Fist. He had a long run on that. I mean, he was on just about everything. Now, characters created by Sal Buscema. Holy shit, 90. Yeah, he's got a lot. ISIS, Invaders, Blackbird, Brainchop, Bulldozer. Carry On, Chandu the Mystic for you Doctor Strange fans, Cypher from Marvel Comics, from New Mutants, Lady Deathstrike, Demogoblin, Devil Hulk, Gene DeWolf, Firebird, Gemini, the Grandmaster. He created the Grandmaster. For those of you Grandmaster, there's your connection for you youngins out there. Grandmaster. If you saw Incredible Hulk, Thor Ragnarok. A very piss poor version of a Grandmaster Tender, sort of a clue. Graviton, the Hellions. Let's see, Hyperion from the Squadron Supreme. Just gonna bring up, like, he's created a lot, but a lot of them you're not gonna know. Magma, New Mutants, Nomad from Marvel Comics. Let's see, just go around. Rom the Space Knight is a big one. Rom the Space Knight, he was part of the creative crew from Rom the Space Knight. Sabra, Selene, part of the Hellfire Club. Speed Demon, Squadron Supreme, Starhawk. Starhawk is one of the original leaders of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Super Patriot. Now, Super Patriot is was the name used by John Walker before he was recruited to become Captain America. Let's see, Viper from the Serpent Society, Warpath, Jonathan Proushard, the Wrecking Crew, X-Ray, Baron Zemo, Helmet Zemo. I mean, he created 94 characters for Marvel Comics. And over the course of from 1959 all the way up. And here's some of his work. Can you guys see that? Good. Okay. This is the first appearance of the Squadron Supreme. This was one of the very few permanent mainstays that Marvel would do in an alternate universe, because that's what the Squadron Supreme, as you can see there, were the equivalents of the Avengers. He had a great run on Spectacular Spider-Man, and he loved to use a lot of colors. Rom the Space Knight. This is the very first page of Rom the Space Knight. This is when you open up Rom the Space Knight number 1. This is his arrival to fight the Dire Race. I mean, this guy did work, and he had not a flashy style, but a basic style. That was really popular during the height of his era. This is before Todd McFarlane. This is before a lot of the Liefeld, but he covered a lot of different things. And I can't get this thing to go. This is from the Marvel's official page. Come on. Oops, hold up. Who's texting me in the middle of the night? Okay. So now this thing's not going to go forward. But this page is not working with StreamYard. It's a problem. But yeah, he's got a lot of stuff that he was a part of. And as you can see, he had a basic style. Comic books are called 4-color fantasies, and he's one of those artists that basically used all the basic colors, all the basic shadows. He did a lot of these covers to where, he would replace the blue sky with white so he could highlight the characters at the top of the page. He loved using the classic font. Even when the comics went over to, they adopted other font, he would go back to that character's classic font. Let me see if I can get this to bring up. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, oh, here we go. Nope, it's not doing it. Let me see if I can do this. All right, so we're going to bring up some of the images. One of the coolest covers that he did is the one that I used on the thumbnail there. Oops, that's still the one that's not working. Dude, StreamYard, I'm paying too much for this. Come on now. These are some of the covers he did, some of the memorable covers. Like this one's one I identify with the most. The one I forgot what issue is this. I think this was a trade paperback, but they took it. This was during the run. This is the third Green Goblin, but this was 200. This was Spectacular Spider-Man 200. Love that cover. It's been reprinted and reprinted. There's his work on the Avengers. He just had a style about him that was basic. It was basic. It was a throwback style. I mean, he did a lot of modern work. I mean, he worked well into his 80s. This is younger him. But he created so many characters, and he had such an impact on comics. He was famous for shit like this, though. This punching scene where the person getting punched is flying upside down. He did a lot of that. There's a She-Hulk cover here that he did, and he would do that a lot, and it was kind of cool. There's his Green Goblin, and he was one of the best people at that making the mask, the expression mask that a lot of people. There he is, that power punch where the hero is clearing the room and knocking the shit out of whoever it is. It goes flying. There we go again. He just had a signature style about him, and you could tell it was him. A lot of times you could tell it was him before you even saw, who was doing the book, because he just had that style. It wasn't just his art style. It was it was how he would place the characters in that signature way. He just had, it was just so recognizable, what he was doing. I mean, he worked on, he did a lot with these characters around this era. So this is in the 1990s. One of his most prolific years, by the way. And you got to figure he was in his 50s, in where a lot of guys are slowing down. But yeah, this is him. This is what he did. This is the work he did, and he had a major impact. And you go on, you go to his Twitter page. You go on his Twitter page, and you see artists from the last 30 to 40 years that understood his impact to the game. And as a collector who started collecting in the early 80s, he was everywhere. He was everywhere. He was everywhere. Sometimes he would be working on 3 and 4 books. He did a lot of work on New Mutants. That's New Mutants #1. That's one of his covers right there. He created a couple characters that are in there. He created Magna. He created Cypher. That's the Sin Eater saga, where I've discussed that one on here before, where I almost said Batman. Spider-Man almost kills the Sin Eater, and Daredevil has to stop him. And then once again, there's that signature right there. See that signature? He loved doing that, and it never got old. So, yeah, rest in peace, Sal Buscema. Rest in peace, man. I mean, and I know I probably am a little bit biased because my roots start with horror movies, science fiction horror movies, and comics. That was it. That was the holy trinity for me growing up. And I knew who Sal Buscema was before I started getting to the point where I wanted to see, well, who's drawing this? Who is this? Because 7, 8, and 9, I didn't care. 10, 11, 12, it became an obsession. To get that artist and get their work. And I had already got so much of Sal Buscema's work because he was so prolific. He was one of the first artists to where I gravitated toward. So, rest in peace. Like I said, the dork industry, the geek industry lost a titan today, and that was what Sal Buscema was. And he's got family, that have worked in the comics. I believe he has a grandson that worked in there. But yeah, Captain America, the Defenders, Incredible Hulk, Marvel Team Up, Ramen Space Knight, The Spectacular Spider-Man, Thor. And he was winning awards all the way up till 2022, which I think that's when he started doing his last work. So, Personal Life and Death. Okay, in February 1959, that's his wife. Their son, Joe Buscema, and followed by Tony and Mike. Let's see, he was an actor too. Yep. Buscema died January 24th at the age of 89, 2 days before his 90th birthday. That's a long life, man. I mean, you wish people could live forever, but if I make it to 90, take it. So there you go. So those of you who I hope I haven't bored my non-comic audience, but when somebody like that leaves this earth, that I can't let that go unrecognized. He was one of those guys, and he was a transcendent guy. It wasn't like, oh, if you collected comics in the 70s, you know who. No, if you collected comics, period, you knew who he was. And if you've been collecting for at least 10 to 15 years or so, you got one of his covers or one of his books in your box. There's just no way you couldn't have. All right. So I don't expect for there to be a lot of feedback on this one, but hey. Clint is notifying us that he is taking this flight. Yeah. This is probably an old one, but yeah, I did. I just went over a lot. He created 94 characters, and several of them were of note. Let's see. I require chivalry. Jesus Christ. William, and is Odin Force apart from Odin? Wouldn't he use that to fight the Infinity Stones? Well, since people say Odin Force, Thor is more powerful than Infinity Gauntlet. Thanos. Well, I hadn't seen it demonstrated because Odin was there during the Infinity War, and he, I know the Celestials. I'd have to see. I have to look because I don't recall that being the case. But I lost touch with that story because it went on forever. I know the Celestials' power was more powerful. I think Galactus has more power than the combined might of it. Because they control, the power cosmic and the power primordial are part of what the Infinity Stones combined would pull their power from. So maybe the Odin Force is along with that. I'd have to take a look at that. I have to do some more studying. So you caught me off guard at 1 o'clock in the morning there. So no, sorry. Let's see. Well, how does Terrifier get brought up in chat? What are you guys doing? Okay, I don't know what the hell's going on with the chat room. So, all right. Hey, listen, that has been the show. That has been Thursday. I will not be on the air tonight anywhere. I got some dinners and stuff I got to do, and then we will be back on Saturday. We are going to be. I will have watched enough of Wonder Man to give an opinion about it. I have some independent comic creators that will be with us. I will be reviewing with hopefully an entertaining Royal Rumble. I will be reviewing Absolute Wonder Woman number 16, I believe. Absolute Zatanna. I've already reviewed. I did a video review. I hope you guys got a chance to see that. It's on the channel of Absolute Batman 16, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It is a dialogue-driven one, and the dialogue matters. I mean, Batman is in hell with Wonder Woman because he's got to, he's trying to help somebody, but it's the interaction between Bruce and Diana, not Batman and Wonder Woman. It's the interaction between Bruce and Diana that is really written special. So I really enjoyed this episode. I'm not going to say it's my favorite one yet, but it's up there. It's up there, and there's some interaction with other characters. Some of them are no longer with them. He has his own version of a Force Ghost conversation that's really poignant and it's really important, and it reminds you of who he actually. It's a throwback to issue 1. So if you had not had a chance to read Absolute Batman number 16, have you had a chance to read it, Brad?
Not yet, no.
Take the L, loser. Wonder Woman, I have not had a chance to read yet. I have it at the store, but I have not had a chance to read it. Absolute Flash comes out this weekend. They reprinted The Killing Joke for like a 35th time. I think one of the best Joker stories ever. So what else? There's some other stuff that came out that'll be at the store. Next time you see me on your screen will be from the center itself. So we'll speak it around. And we're actually going to start bringing up comic book stories in 1986 as well. So we have movie, we have sound, we have all kinds of stuff. And then pop culture general. Plus, it's not just 1986. We are on the 30th anniversary of 1996. And we have some big movies that came out then. We have Independence Day that came out then. I think, didn't we have Mission Impossible come out then?
Not 86. That was 96.
That's what I mean, 96. So
96, yeah.
So we got some pretty decent movies to come out. That have come out in some of these years. So I've been primarily focusing on 1986 because it was a huge year for movies and music. But 1996, hell, that puts us right into the alternative era, right in the middle of the alternative era. So we'll bring up some of that stuff too. And if you guys have any suggestions from any of those years that you want us to talk about, throw them in the comment section, and we'll take a look at them. Sunday we're going to have one members chat, and I'm actually going to do it this time. One member show. So you do YouTube members that have stuck with us, I am going to reward you, and then we're going to have a Patreon show as well, since there's no football. And then later on that evening we will have our Sunday night weekend wrap up. So that's our 4 shows. Remember, you can tune your clock. I'm old. You can set your clock, you set your calendar, put them on your calendar. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, Sunday. Tuesdays, no topic Tuesday. First one, Brad missed. Thursday Night Live, which we're in the middle of right now, or at the end of right now. Saturday overnight live, and then the weekend wrap up. Sunday night. Those are our 4 shows. And then every now and then I'll pop in when I got too much energy. I'm like that hamster running the wheel, and I'll stay on the air until I run out of energy, like I did the other night. But that's it. That's So please like, subscribe, hit the alert bell, or just be hanging around on the channel when we go live on those 4 days. So, all right, guys, that is it. I'm going to go eat and sleep. That's it. That's nothing imagined. I don't even want to watch the news today because it's horrifying. All right, guys, have a nice Friday. Have a nice safe start to your week. And I will see you Saturday night.
See you guys.